Hello everybody, welcome to Barcelona as the cars take to the track for the first qualifying session of a weekend which is going to decide the destiny of the 2017 International GTOpen title. Once more, the championship fight coming down to the final event of the year, and this year promises to be an absolute cracker because we have still got 5 cars in contention for the crown. It is going to be quite the weekend of racing here at the home of the Spanish Grand Prix, the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. We have got, as is traditional, lots of new entries on the grid, including the Senkia Motorsport BMW of Jacob Noll and Richard Gonda. We've also got the Optima Motorsport Audi with Bradley Ellis, former British GT champion, at the wheel for this morning's qualifying period. So that is going to be worth watching the progress of as well. It's Richard Gonda at the wheel of the BMW, Ellis at the wheel of the Audi. And in terms of the championship, here is what you need to know. Coming into the weekend, it is Giovanni Venturini who leads the championship standings. He is 5-point clear in his Imperiale Racing Lamborghini Huracan of the Teo Martin Motorsport BMW of Fran Rueda and Victor Bouveng. Third in the standings are Albert Costa and Philip Fromavilla in the Emil Frey Racing Lexus, and they are just 14 points adrift. Thomas Biaggi in another of the Imperiale Racing Lamborghinis is fourth in the standings. He's 20 points off Venturini, and Miguel Ramos and Mikel Mack in the Spirit of Race Ferrari 488 are 19 points back. There are 30 points to play for over the course of the weekend, with 15 points for the win, as we are in car with Victor Bouveng, one of the championship contenders in the Teo Martin Motorsport BMW. Lovely clear picture as we ride in car with the Swedish driver. And you can just see how relaxed he is behind the wheel as well through turn 3. It's the Triple F Racing Lamborghini Huracan. Vitantonio Liuzzi at the wheel. He's pursuing the Conrad Lamborghini of Hendrik Still. For Liuzzi and Hiroshi Hamaguchi, it wasn't the easiest start to the season, but it's been going much better for them as the years unfolded. Back in car with Victor Bouveng. He and Fran Rueda have been a really potent pairing this season. Alex West in the Garage 59 McLaren. He and Com Ledegar have still got an outside chance of claiming the Pro-Am Championship. The Pro-Am standings currently being led by Sean Balfe and Rob Bell. They're 12 points clear of Pier Giuseppe Perezzini, 16 points clear of West and Ledegar. And so really it will take a disaster for Bell and Balfe not to wrap up that crown already. Luis Silva and Antonio Coimbra have claimed the AM Championship. I was talking to Com Ledegar yesterday, and he was saying that they really like the balance of McLaren this weekend. We're very happy with how testing went on Thursday, and certainly a class podium could be on the cards. As the McLaren accelerates up through turn 3. It's another of the new entries for this weekend who's currently quickest. That's Rinat Salikov at the wheel of the Rinaldi racing car, as West just runs a little bit wide. Now, there is indeed the Rinaldi racing Ferrari, and like the Optima Motorsport Audi and the Senkia Motorsport BMW, these cars won't score nor block points this weekend, and so that is quite important, because although they can feature on outright race podiums and the like, what they're not going to do is take points away from any of the championship rivals. Salikov balances on the brakes, heading down into turn 3. It's Duncan Tappy, who is now quickest in the session, a 1:45.6, as we look at one of the championship contenders. That's Albert Costa, local man, who something of a home favourite here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia, and he goes quickest in the Emil Frey Racing Lexus, a 1:44.3, and Costa really on it. He's got almost not quite the ideal position because he's got some points to make up, but he doesn't have to defend a position this weekend. He and From Villa can just go all out and attack, and that potentially will suit Albert Costa. He's had notched up several victories so far this season. Lexus being particularly strong in Estoril, Spa and Silverstone. Meanwhile, Richard Gonda, the former FIA Formula 2 Championship driver, flashes his headlights as catch a glimpse of Fu Song Yang in the SF Racing Ferrari. That was the quickest car in free practice yesterday, actually in the hands of Song Yang's co-pilot, Andrea Caldarelli. Richard Gonda just looks to the inside of the Chinese, sneaks past the Ferrari. Runs through the curbs and picks up the throttle. Now this could be an interesting car, the Senke BMW, in terms of challenging as the race unfolds, with Jacob Noll and Richard Gonda both experienced high quality drivers. So the current classification then is Albert Costa quickest from Victor Bouveng. We watch Bouveng now in the Théo Martin Motorsport BMW. He's 8/10 adrift of Costa at the moment. Giovanni Venturini this weekend. He's the driver who is partnered by Marco Mappelli. Very, very quick combination in the Imperiale Racing Ferrari, and it's Mappelli who is going to be qualifying the car for this race. Meanwhile, there's been a shift in the second of the Imperiale lineups. Vito Postiglione this weekend is partnered by Christian Engelhardt, the German star, in the 23 car, with Raffaele Giammaria still alongside Thomas Biaggi. Those three cars, the Imperiale Hurricanes, not yet taking to the circuit. Maybe they're just waiting to see what others can do, as Bouveng has been shuffled to third by Rob Bell, who's gone second in the Balfe Motorsport McLaren. Here comes Bouveng across the line, completes another flying lap. It's a 1 minute 44.9, so he improves his time, but not his position. So it remains Costa from Bell, then Bouveng. Bradley Ellis immediately on the pace in the Optimum Motorsport Audi. He goes fourth. Duncan Tappy's currently fifth in the Garage 59 McLaren, ahead of Dominic Farnbacher in the Farnbacher Racing Lexus. Here is Jordan Witt in the Jordan Racing Bentley. They had to skip Monza for technical reasons, but had a really strong weekend when we last saw them in action at Silverstone. Jordan Witt and Michael Meadows. Very strong combination in the Pro-Am Championship. And Witt currently 9th overall in this session. Make that 10th because Lorenzo Beirao de Viega's just gone into 5th. Onslow Cole also posting a good lap and just pips Beirao de Viega for that 5th position. So ended the first run for Jordan Witt. Now, of course, the other consideration for all the teams this weekend is how they use their tyre allocation. Do they go for a good grid position today? Do they save fresh tyres for qualifying and the race tomorrow? For Rob Bell, he is certainly coming into this weekend with one hand on the Pro-Am crown alongside Sean Balfe. And Bell second in this session. It's just under half a second adrift of Albert Costa. So Costa's time of 1 minute 44.3, really impressive benchmark as we hit the 1/3 point of the session. And just wondering whether or not Costa and the Emil Frey Racing Lexus team might be repeating what they did at Silverstone, which is going out, banging in a flying lap at the very start of the session, and then seeing if anybody can match it. So Bell accelerates uphill out of turn 8 towards turn 9. Doesn't appear as if this is a particularly hot lap from Bell. It's very hard to tell because he is such a smooth driver. But no, this is a couple of seconds back, so wouldn't be surprised if we saw Bell peeling into the pits at the end of this lap. Instead, the driver is really flying is Tom Onslow Cole in the SPS Automotive Mercedes. Onslow Cole just coming to the end of a flying lap and doesn't quite post an improvement. So it's Costa from Bell, Bouveng, Tappy, the top four. Onslow Cole in 5th as into the pit lane peels Rob Bell. But the big question is the Imperiale Racing Lamborghinis, and we've got in car with the championship leading car, Marco Mappelli, partnering Giovanni Venturini this weekend. And Mappelli, what can he do? Meanwhile, for Miguel Ramos, coming into the weekend with a slightly outside shot at the title alongside Mikel Mack. They had a brilliant mid-season purple patch at Paul Ricard and the Hungaro ring. Silverstone was heavy going, as here is the squadron of Imperiale Racing Lamborghinis, and it is Christian Engelhardt who is at the head of this particular queue. Sister cars just behind. Marco Mappelli, an eye towards the championship, the man that we're going to be watching for Giovanni Venturini. This year has been all about consistency. He's only had one victory, the Italian, but he's been racking up, he's scored points in every single race of the year. And that is the approach that took Thomas Biaggi, his teammate, to the championship last season. And thus far, in 2017, it's been very effective for Venturini. So the Imperiale Lamborghinis, they have got more or less the whole track to themselves. Most of the field are in the pit lane. Here is Raffaele Gianmaria, who partners Thomas Biaggi. Gianmaria just finding a little bit of space, so he's not going to be impeded by any traffic. He's going to have almost the whole of the circuit to himself, less his teammates. As Engelhardt and Mappelli swing out of the final turn, they sprint through into a flying lap. So with Albert Costa in the Lexus, it's only taking one lap to warm up the control compound Michelin tire they all run with. And Mappelli already right on it into turn 1. Accelerates uphill through turn 2 into turn 3. It's going to be as they head towards turn 4 that we'll get an indication of sector times and how they're going. As Engelhardt and Mappelli approach now, and it's a 30.0 for Christian Engelhardt. Marco Mappelli's transponder appears to have stayed in the pits, whilst the Italian has left them because no time is coming up for his car on our timing screen. But the pace of Engelhardt and Gianmaria suggests they're just a little bit adrift of the very best Sector 1 times we've seen in the session, which are in the high 29-second bracket rather than the low 30s, which is where Engelhardt and Gianmaria are. Mappelli's also going to have to be careful with track limits not to get pinged for all four wheels over the white line, because he's become very close to doing that twice already on this lap. So Christian Engelhardt is going to set a reasonable banker lap on this occasion. It's going to move him up the order. It's not going to, though, be good enough to depose Albert Costa. The same for Raffaele Gianmaria, as Engelhardt and Mappelli come through the final turn. We can't give you Mappelli's time because his transponder is not working. Christian Engelhardt goes 11th with that effort. Raffaele Gianmaria also about to swing through. For my reckoning, Gianmaria's heading for about 14th. In fact, no, he goes 4th. A phenomenal final sector from Raffaele Gianmaria and a good middle sector. Meanwhile, Marco Mappelli is right up behind teammate Engelhardt. They've got Ivor Dunbar in the FF Course Ferrari just ahead of them as well. Mappelli's transponder working on this occasion. He's done 30.0 through Sector 1. See if we get a time credited to him from last time around in due course. Vito Postiglione watches the progress of Christian Engelhardt. Engelhardt darts to the inside of Ivor Dunbar. Is able to scythe past the FF Course Ferrari on the way through turn 8. Oh, Mappelli's going to be delayed here through turn 9. He's going to have to back out the lap. In car from Mappelli. You can actually hear the engine note as he just had to back off it. Flashes headlights at Dunbar, signals he's looking for a move into turn 10. Gets seen and slips past. So that's a lost lap for Marco Mapelli. It's also a partially lost lap for Christian Engelhardt. Halfway through the session, the classification is Albert Costa in pole, Rob Bell second, Victor Bouveng third, Rafael Legia-Maria in fourth, Duncan Tappy fifth, Tomás Locol sixth, Lorenzo Beralde-Villegas seventh, Richard Gonda eighth, Miguel Ramos in ninth. So Marco Mapelli, we had his time last time round credited to him now, and he has gone second as he peels into the pits. So Mapelli's sole flying lap of the session, enough to give him second, 58 thousandths of a second adrift of Albert Costa. Oh, this is a good one, as Engelhardt, he's now got completely clear track to push. It's going to be new boots for Marco Mapelli. The Imperiale Racing team get to work. Can Mapelli find 600ths of a second if he can? That's going to be good enough for pole. Is it going to force Albert Costa and the Emil Frey Racing Lexus squad back out there? But as things currently stand, the top three in the championship are all in the first two rows of the grid. With Rafael Legia-Maria, Thomas Biaggi, who are currently fourth in the standings, in fifth. So those in the title fight for this weekend, it's only Miguel Ramos in 10th. Who's possibly got some work to do in the second half of the session. Oh, again, Christian Engelhardt getting caught in traffic on another flying lap. This time it's Fu Song Yang. And it means that for Christian Engelhardt, it's not been the easiest of sessions so far. And the problem with the lowly grid position for Engelhardt is that it means he can't do an awful lot to protect his teammates from the attentions of the other championship rivals. But he's still got 12 minutes to play with. But this lap looking unlikely to be an improvement, and in fact he darts into the pits, possibly bolt on a new set of rubber and look to improve from that 12th position. Lots of cars now emerging from the pits once more for a second run of the session, including Dominic Farnbacher in the Farnbacher Racing Lexus, twice a winner this year in Estoril and Spa-Francorchamps. But plenty of bad luck, unfortunately, along the way for the Farnbacher squad. But an opportunity here, maybe to assist the Emil Frey Racing Lexus, if Dominic Farnbacher can move up ahead of 13th on the grid, which is where he currently is. Accelerates through the final turn and embarks on what's going to be a flying lap, his out lap having just been completed, towards sector 1. The top 5 in the session all currently in the pits. Duncan Tappy has just re-emerged. Tomás Locol, who's currently in 7th, is also circulating. There is Ons Locol, the bright green Mercedes, just behind Dominic Farnbacher. Coming towards the end of the first sector, what can Dominic Farnbacher offer? It's a 29.9, a very good first sector. So this could well be a competitive lap. His challenge is possibly going to be the capture of Miguel Ramos in the Spirit of Race Ferrari. Ramos also on a quick lap. He's just done a 30.1 through the first sector. This middle sector, the longest sector on the lap. And it comes to an end into the braking zone for turn 10. In fact, you can see the white line painted on the circuit. Also going very strongly is Richard Gonda. Here he is in the Senkia Racing BMW. And Gonda well up through the first sector. So lots of times likely to be improved. Miguel Ramos, another driver, having an excellent lap. Dominic Farnbacher, his best middle sector too. So the grid might start to look a little bit different. Duncan Tappy also on a flying lap as well in 6th position. He only needs to find 0.02 of a second to move up ahead of Rafael Legia-Maria. A third of the session remains, and this is an absolute thriller here to set the grid for the penultimate race of the International GTOpen season. The championship is going to be decided this weekend as Ramos improves to 9th, a 1 minute 45.1. Here comes Richard Gonda, who improves to fifth, a 1 minute 45.0. So Gonda goes fifth. Now that really puts the cat in amongst the pigeons. Tom Onslow-Cole just heading into a flying lap as well in the SPS Automotive Mercedes. As meanwhile, through the first sector on this last lap, Dominic Farnbacher has set the best first sector of the session altogether. In the Farnbacher Racing Lexus, we're with Onslow-Cole, who's very close to the mark through sector one that was set by Farnbacher. Richard Gonda is also on another absolutely blistering lap as Bradley Ellis crosses the line. He doesn't quite improve. He remains 13th in the Optimum Audi. Very pleasing to see the Optimum Motorsport squad on the grid this weekend in Barcelona. Duncan Tappy's just improved his time for 6th by 0.02 of a second, so deposes Raffaele Gianmaria. Rob Bell also re-emerging from the pit lane. So it's all go. Farnbacher, Ramos, Onslow-Cole, Richard Gonda all on good laps. We are with Dominic Farnbacher as he comes out of the final turn. He's done personal best through sectors 1 and 2. And he goes third, a 1 minute 44.6 for Dominic Farnbacher. Tom Onslow-Cole in his wheel tracks about to complete lap as well. Onslow-Cole goes 4th. Miguel Ramos has gone 7th. Really good lap from Dominic Farnbacher. Great to see the Farnbacher Lexus back at the front of the field. Richard Gonda, meanwhile, didn't improve despite the excellent first sector, and Dominic Farnbacher has possibly given up on this lap. He is being pursued, though, by the Wessex vehicles. Lamborghini, victorious in the last event in Monza in the hands of Craig Dolby and Seb Morris. And that driver pairing continuing for this weekend in the Nigel Mustelone car. It's Dolby at the wheel, currently in 17th position, Craig Dolby, but certainly on it so far on this lap, although again we're possibly having a few transponder issues with that car. So the classification is Albert Costa from Marco Mappelli, then it's Dominic Farnbacher 3rd, Tom Onslow-Cole 4th, Rob Bell 5th, Duncan Tappy 6th, Victor Bouveng in 7th, Miguel Ramos in 8th on another good lap, Richard Gonda 9th, Raffaele Gianmaria completing the top 10. All of those cars, with the exception of Marco Mappelli, are currently on track. In the case of Miguel Ramos, on another good lap. Quite what time this is going to be for Craig Dolby. We'll find out. The transponder, I don't think, picking up the last couple of sectors, so we might get an adjusted time for Dolby, but the Wessex vehicles, Lamborghini Gallardo, flashes across the line. And he embarks on another flying lap. Meanwhile, Miguel Ramos goes 6th. So Ramos, of the championship contenders, is now the 3rd placed of them on the grid, 6th overall. Dominic Farnbacher peels into the pit lane. Craig Dolby presses onward. See whether or not he actually breaks the time being at the end of the sector. Yes, he does. Really pushing that car. Miguel Ramos on another good lap. So everything to go for. Just 5 minutes remain in the session in the AM class. Rinat Salikov currently in pole position for the AM class. Back with Miguel Ramos then. Not such a good middle sector this for Miguel Ramos. He's a couple of tenths away from where he really would want to be. As he swings into the final few turns. Just got to jink through the chicane. Albert Costa, however, is on track and is flying. So Ramos is going to accelerate through, take the end of the lap, and doesn't quite improve. 1 minute 44.9. Here is Victor Bouveng, meanwhile. Bouveng on a reasonably good lap, but it's not as good as Albert Costa. Costa is heading through turn 12. Now I can see him from my contract box window. He's done the fastest middle sector of anybody of the session. Bouveng, towards the end of his middle sector, doesn't post a personal improvement for the middle sector. So I'd like to be a jump from 9th here for Victor Bouveng. Albert Costa thunders past but doesn't improve on this lap. He got caught behind Antonio Coimbra through the final sector. And so despite a phenomenal first couple of sectors, Costa doesn't improve. Victor Bouveng won't improve on this lap, but he will have the benefit of an empty circuit for another crack at it next time around. So Bouveng through a 1 minute 45.1. Classification is Albert Costa from Christian Engelhardt, who goes second in the Imperiale Racing Lamborghini, a 1 minute 44.3, 21 thousandths of a second adrift of Albert Costa. Victor Bouveng throwing everything at it. Marco Mappelli remains in third. The top three separated by 58 thousandths of a second. Dominic Farnbacher is fourth. Tomonslo Cole is fifth. Rob Bell in sixth. Raffaele Giammaria is seventh. Miguel Ramos in eighth. The man we watch now, the Garage 59 McLaren, the Duncan Tappy in ninth. And Victor Bouveng completing the top 10. But Bouveng on a good lap also appears to be Dominic Farnbacher. No, it's not. It's the Optimum Motorsport Audi. It's Christian Engelhardt on another good lap. He only needs to find 21 thousandths of a second. Marco Mappelli not yet re-emerged from the pits, possibly playing the strategy game. Engelhardt running out very wide through turn 9. Mappelli might be content with third for he and Giovanni Venturini, and it saves them tyres for the rest of the weekend. Christian Engelhardt, can he overhaul Albert Costa? It's going to be a closely run thing based on the first couple of sectors on the lap. As Engelhardt winds through the chicane, in fact abandons the lap, peels into the pits, and the Imperiale team, based on this session, possibly playing the long game. They're not asking anything more of the tyres than they absolutely need to. Keeping them to be fresh for the race, keeping them to be fresh for qualifying tomorrow. Victor Bouveng, meanwhile, has gone sixth, a 1 minute 44.6 for the BMW driver. So he is not going to be in position to take points off of Venturini, certainly in the first half of the race. Now, Albert Costa, he's got a clear track on this occasion. He's just overcome Hendrik Still in the Conrad Lamborghini. Headlights ablaze from Costa. Now, he doesn't need to improve necessarily. It's looking as if that pole position is reasonably secure. The top six, by the way, separated by fractionally over 0.3 of a second. So any improvement from any of those drivers is going to potentially really shake things up. It's the Emil Frey Racing Lexus of Albert Costa heads through turn 12 and towards turn 13, the sharp right-hander. Slight downhill run. I think it's Rob Bell who's possibly right in front of Albert Costa. It is, as Costa accelerating onwards to complete the lap, and he doesn't quite improve, 1 minute 44.5. But he retains pole position. Victor Bouveng, the front runners in the session, is probably one of the only ones who continues to circulate. As Costa leaps aside, allows Hendrik Still to go for another quick lap, still currently in 18th. Handshake for Philip Fromenvilla. Applause in the Emil Frey Racing Garage. They feel they've got pole position as the checker flag comes out. The only driver who could possibly disrupt that is Victor Bouveng, who snuck past the line just before the flag, but Bouveng has backed out the lap, so it is going to be pole for Costa. So the driver combination who came into the weekend third in the championship. They know they need to do the chase, and they know they need to push for the result, and they've certainly done the first part of the job, which is pole position for Albert Costa. He and Philip Fromville will be aiming for a lights to flag victory, but with only a 21,000th of a second advantage over the Imperiale Racing Lamborghini of Christian Engelhardt, it's going to be hard going. Victor Bouveng, he and Fran Rueda will line up in 6th position. Who knows what the race will bring? We get underway this afternoon at just before 4 o'clock Central European time. Formation lap from 3:55. We'll be on air about 10 minutes before then. Make sure you join us, because it promises to be an absolutely fantastic 60 minutes of racing, 70 minutes of racing here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. It is unlikely that we will see the champion crowned today, but we will certainly see the championship battle ebbing and flowing as the race unfolds. Costa enjoying his moment in the sun as he slowly tours back to the pit lane. Everybody else is either in the pits or has taken the flag, so we will be able to have a run down the classification. Albert Costa then pole position from the Imperiale Racing Lamborghinis of Christian Engelhardt and Marco Mappelli. Dominic Farnbacher in 4th. Then Tom Onslow Cole heads the Pro-Am class in 5th, ahead of Victor Bouveng. Raffaele Giamaria in 7th from Rob Bell in 8th. Miguel Ramos showing very consistent pace. He and Mikko Mack should not be discounting the race from 9th, with Duncan Tappy completing the top 10, the 3rd of the Pro-Am qualifiers. Still plenty of quick cars further on down through the field. With Lorenzo Berard Viega lining up in 11th. He's partnered by Antonio Costa this weekend. Richard Gonda, an excellent 12th from Craig Dolby in 13th. Marco Ciocci, 14th. The Jordan Witt and Bradley Ellis. Tony Liuzzi and Hendrik Still. Rinat Salikov, the AM class pole position for him in the Rinaldi Racing Ferrari. With then Marcello Hahn, the Drivex Mercedes, completing the top 20. All within 2 seconds of pole position, that top 20. Antonio Coimbra 21st, ahead of Alex West. And then Marcio Basso and Ivor Dunbar, with Fu Song Yang lining up in 25th position. It promises to be an absolutely scintillating race this afternoon. And our very, very strong and considered professional advice is make sure that you join us just before 4 o'clock Central European time here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Until then, it's goodbye.
Who is P1?